Hey guys, welcome to the global video hop. I hope I said that right. For September. This month we are featuring the one layer card. Sorry, I got totally messed up with my words just then. And this was a bit of a challenge to get my head around for a couple reasons, I think. If you follow my channel or have seen my work before, I tend to chuck the whole kitchen sink at my cards. So this was a theme I struggled with, so I decided, you know what, I need to do it. I need to not pull out of this month because I'm going to challenge myself. I still added probably a bit too much to my card, but I'm going to explain my justification. Not my justification, that sounds terrible, but my interpretation we'll go with for a one layer card. So this is my idea, or what I would call a one layer card. So first of all, I'm probably going to show you a card I made this week and what I would call, or no, I'll show you my one layer card first. So I have been loving making note cards or going with a note card size. So this is not a traditional size card. So I'm going to show you the card I was going to show you anyway. So this is what I'm in Australia. So this is our traditional sized card. So this is a note card, which is in imperial sizing is 3.5 by 5 inches. I'm not sure what that is in centimeters actually. It's 9 centimeters by roughly 13-ish. So yeah, it's a bit smaller. So I thought while I was keeping it simple, it was a great excuse to use a note card size. So traditionally, when I'm creating, I tend to use lots of layers. So if you can see here, this is a card I actually created yesterday. So I've got my card base. I've got 1, 2, 3, technically before we get to the main point, 4, 5, probably 5 layers before I got to my milkshake. That was the focal point of my card. So I've got 5 layers. So then this card was all about the sunflowers. So here I've got my note card and I've actually only got 1 layer. So the idea of this 1 layer theme was to create with 1 layer. So here the whole product theme for this card was going to be the Abundant Beauty masks. So this is actually a new product to the annual catalogue, I believe. And I was really excited because this product has blown out of the park really. I've seen lots of different things created with it, which is exciting. So if you've seen lots of sunflower cards around, lots of people are loving these sunflower masks. I'm not sure where they are in the catalogue. They're generally towards the back, these masks. Maybe they're not in the annual catalogue. Maybe they're in the mini catalogue. I'm not 100% sure now. Maybe they are in the mini catalogue. Yes they are. They're in the mini catalogue. So page 47. That would make sense because they've been so popular. So these are the Abundant Beauty masks with the beautiful sunflowers. So they're on page 47 of the mini catalogue. And they're $18.50 in Australian dollars. And these are really cool, and I'm hoping that Stampin' Up brings more of this style of mask in because they're layering masks, and I'll show you that in just a tick. But this card actually also features a 1 layer style card, and because they've really just focused on the mask and created 1 layer. But that's what I have tried to do here. So I'm going to show you the background created with a mask, and then my focal point here is actually also the mask. And then the only thing I've brought in here is just a sentiment. So the sunflowers are actually a mask, which I fussy cut out and stuck on top. So that's also just the only 1 layer I added on top, but it's technically an embellishment. So that's where I'm going to say I got away with it, but it's technically my embellishment. So that is what I'm doing. So 1 layer, and it's just a note card. I haven't added anything on the inside yet. You could add something, and what I wanted to say is there's 2, I had them sitting, no, they're just here. We have 2 styles of note cards in the catalogue, which are pretty nifty. These are the basic white note cards and envelopes, and they come with 20, I believe, in there. And they come with the little matching envelopes, which are pretty cute. But also we have the craft note cards and envelopes, which these are pretty cool. And they would make a really great matching set. These come with 20 as well, but the different thing about these is it comes with a little, in the back here, which I haven't used yet, it comes with a little box that you can put together. So I'm not quite sure because I haven't had a play, but it's got the score lines and it makes a little box that you can put together to make a little gift set. So you could make a whole heap of, say, this sunflower card and gift the little note cards to someone. So there's a couple of options for the note cards. So I'm going to show you how, I'm going to stop waffling on, and I'm going to show you how I put together this card. So I've gone ahead and scored my little note card. They do come pre-scored, but I like to reinforce the score because sometimes it can be a little off. Now, the only thing you really need for these cards, which I have gone ahead and pulled out, are the Abundant Beauty masks. Now you can see I haven't gone ahead and cleaned them because I just used them, but it does come with a few different masks. So I've got the houndstooth background. It has some autumn leaves and some snowflakes, which I haven't used these two, but they're kind of your backgrounds. And then these are the ones which I totally haven't cleaned because I'm going to use them, but that's our sunflowers. And then we've got our layering pieces. So these are the bits that will do the centers of our sunflowers. And then we have our leaves. So really super cool. So that's the mask pieces that we will use. And then there's going to be a heap of colors. And I'm going to use lots of blending brushes. So really the only thing that you need for this card is the Abundant Beauty masks, and I've used the Layering Leaves stamp set just for my sentiment, but you could use any sentiment you want. And I've just added a tiny little butterfly from the Brush Brass butterflies, but and Wink of Stella, because you just can't get away with adding some glitter, but you don't have to do that. Okay, so I have cut a piece of basic white thick, and I've cut that just a little bit bigger than what I need. So I cut sorry, I've got a tickle in my throat. So I cut it just a little bit smaller than the base, which the base is I'm sorry, the base is 3.5 by 5. So I cut it 1/8 of an inch smaller than my base when I'm finished, but I cut it bigger to start off with, and then I'll cut it down. So I'm just going to line that up, and then I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape just to tape that down. And this is why I like it to be a little bit bigger. Oh my goodness. Okay, because I just don't want that to move. So it doesn't, this is why it's good to have it a little bit bigger. Okay, so now I want to start with my first color. So what I'm going to do is grab my blending brush and start with some Berry Burst, because that's the color I want to go in with first for my houndstooth pattern. So I'm just going to cover the entire background with some Berry Burst. If you have a stamp positioning tool and some magnets, this is also a great way to use stencils as well. I've been sick all week, so I've still got this niggly cough. Okay, so I want to do some areas a little bit darker. So I'll just concentrate on some areas more than others. Oh goodness. It's a great time to film a video. Okay. Okay, so that should be all good. Now I can close up that ink pad, and what I want to do is grab out my Blackberry Bliss, and I want to pull up my stencil. It's great to have baby wipes on hand, by the way, for this. Now what I want to do is move my mask and have a bit of a shadow. So I want to move it Oh my goodness. I knew this would start as soon as I started talking. Okay, so I want to move it so I can see my houndstooth pattern, but have it so I can see lots of white as well, because the Blackberry Bliss is going to go into those spots. So I want to fill that in. Okay, so I'll place that down again, open my Blackberry Bliss, and come in with my purple. So it looks great to start off with a lighter colour, then fill in the spots with a darker colour. So start with your light and then add the second with a darker colour. So this is a great card to do with minimal supplies, because really all you need is some note cards, some ink, and the stencils. You can use whatever sentiments, whatever sentiment stamp you like. Okay, getting there. Just want to make sure I've got that all nicely blended. Once again, I want some spots to be darker than others. This is going to be a really nice video full of coughing, but I'm keeping it real. Okay, I can peel that up now, and then I've got this really cool trendy double houndstooth pattern. How cool is that? Okay, now I can close up. Oh, don't you love it? You know you've been crafting, and I love to wipe it on my clothes. Now this is something that you can chuck in soapy dishwater, give it a wipe it with baby wipes. Oh my goodness, I'm just gonna pause and get a drink. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so now that we've got that all blended, I'm going to cut it down to the size that we need. So I'm just going to trim the edges where you get some bits that aren't necessarily perfect. So we want that down to 1/8. I don't usually work in imperial, so I just want to double check I'm doing the right thing here. I'm definitely a metric girl. Right, so I want 1/8 less. I did that actually spot on. Okay, so what's that? 2 7/8. Okay, get that in my head. Okay, so then I want, what is it? 4 7/8. That's right. I'm just going to double check that on my card. Oh, I always get nervous doing imperial. Okay, so that's right. Okay, so that's our one layer done. Now we can put the trimmer to the side. We don't need that now. Now what I'm going to do to add a little bit more interest is I'm going to grab a Blackberry Bliss marker, and I'm going to use the brush tip end, open that and pop it in the cap, and just spritz some of that ink onto my card. And I learnt the hard way that I know there'd probably be some drops of this on my background, on my desk, and this is how I get ink on my white bits of my cards. So I'm just going to deal with that before it happens. And then what I'm going to do is pull in my scrap now. So I have a scrap of basic white, and while that dries for a tick, with my scrap of basic white, this is where I'm going to utilize my masks, so my sunflowers. And what I'm going to do is grab some scraps, some pieces of washi tape to hold. This is not how you'll see everyone use these masks. You'll see some people use the notches up here, but I only want pieces to fussy cut, and I found that this works fine. So you will see me do this really randomly. Okay, so I want to use a blending brush. I need to give these a bit of a clean, but that's okay. And I'm going to use some Daffodil Delight ink for my sunflowers. So I'm just going to add in my first layer just by going in. Now I don't want to make it too dark because I think my originals were a little bit too dark. So I just want to add a layer of the daffodil. So with my first one, I think I added too much to my first layer, which made it too dark. So I just want to add a layer of the daffodil. Just make sure it's nicely blended. And then I'm going to go in with some crushed curry. So this is just a darker yellow. I'm going to ink up my blending brush and then focusing on the middle here, going over that center. I'm going around, and what this does is makes the center of those petals darker. And we'll do the same to this smaller sunflower here, adding a bit more ink. And that should be enough. Okay, so then I'll close up this ink pad. And then we can pull up the mask. And then we get this pretty sunflower image happening here. So the next step we need is to do the centers. I'm just going to pull out my washi tape because I'm going to use that again. And now I'm going to line up these centers with the centers of my sunflowers. So I want to line up the big and the small. So you'll see a third one, but that's because I'm choosing not to do the smallest one. I only need the two biggest ones. So I'm going to do pecan pie for my first layer. I'm just adding a layer of that, and then for my second layer I'm just going to take this one off. We've got this image here, which is like a detailed center. Just line that up where you can see it fits. And I'm going to go over that one with copper clay. I love copper clay. I've been using it loads. Okay, that should be enough because that's quite a strong colour. And that's our sunflowers done. Aren't they gorgeous? Okay, so the last thing we need for the stencils is some leaves, and I'm not going to even washi tape these down because I don't need to. All I'm going to grab is some Granny Apple Green ink and some Pretty Peacock, and I'm going to just add my Granny Apple Green, and then towards the edge I'm just going to add a little bit of Pretty Peacock. That might have been a bit dark, but that's okay. And then I'll repeat that with the smaller leaf. So a little bit of Granny Apple and then some Pretty Peacock. I might just do that bigger one again because I think I did that a little bit too dark. Okay, so that's all of the blending done. Now what I want to do before I cut out my sunflowers is add in some Wink of Stella. So I'm just going to go over my leaves of my sunflower with some Wink of Stella, which is probably really hard to see on the video, but it makes them really pretty and lovely and shiny. And now all I need to do is fussy cut all of these images out. Sometimes it's easier to cut them down a little bit smaller. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward or cut this bit of the video out, and then I'll come back. Okay, there's all my pieces cut out. So now we can move on to getting all of our bits stuck down. So I want to ruffle up. It's probably not exactly terminology, but it is now. We'll say it is now. So I'm just going to do one of my favorite techniques, and that is to use my bone folder to break apart the fibers of the cardstock. I'm going to do that in the top right hand corner here. I'm just going to run that over the front and back a few times. I can feel you can feel the fibers breaking apart when it's enough, so that should be enough. You can tell when it's ready, when it starts to do that. Now what I want to do is just grab a scrap, because I want to just run my blending brush that still has some of the Blackberry Bliss over the top, and just add that purple over the top. Now what I'm going to do is actually just scrunch it up a little bit, add a little bit more distressing, roll it over, and add a staple. I love my stapler. I use it loads. Stampin' Up used to have one, but just a standard stapler works fine. Now I can grab just some glue, and I'm going to just adhere this layer to my note card. So I'm just going to stick that down. Now I can place my sunflowers roughly where I want them and arrange my leaves. I did cut out an extra one because I ended up liking that one that was a little bit too dark, so I don't know if I'll use it on the card or not, because I didn't mind it in the end. It might be too many. It seemed like a waste. What is that? Waste not, want not? We might just put it on there anyway. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the backs and stick down my leaves. I don't want them to poke too far over the edge, because it does need to be able to go into an envelope. So I just want to add in my glue. So once I've got my leaves stuck, I'm going to adhere down my sunflowers. So I want to adhere the big sunflower just with some liquid glue. I think I'm getting to the end of I need to refill my liquid glue. Okay, so the big sunflower is stuck down with just liquid glue, and this little sunflower I have added with some dimensionals, so almost to the end of this dimensional sheet, but I always use the edges. I never throw those away. So I'm just going to stick that little guy down. Now we need to add our sentiment. So I've got a scrap of basic white, and that should be enough. Now I'm taking the Layering Leaves stamp set, and I've got Sending Hugs. I've mounted that up on a block, and I'm just going to take some pretty peacock ink and stamp that down onto a scrap. Now I'm going all out here because I am going to fussy cut it, which scares some people, but I promise I will try and do this quickly. No dies needed. Look, there's no punches and no dies. This really is a beginner's card. You could even keep this as a strip. Like, you could keep it like that if you wanted and not fussy cut this. So I'm choosing to fussy cut, but you could keep it as a strip of paper if you wanted to. This step of fussy cutting is completely optional. I love I love a bit of fussy cutting. I find it quite therapeutic. Some people find that quite odd. I love it when Stampin' Up releases a pack of paper with little critters or images that need fussy cutting, and I will take it in front of the TV and binge watch a Netflix series, and I'll sit there and fussy cut the whole thing. And then the challenge then is to actually make projects that require using it all, because that becomes the challenge. Because I've enjoyed fussy cutting it all, but to use it all is the challenge. Okay. It's easier when you're fussy cutting to chop large bits off, so you're working with less paper. Okay. And I find it easier to use the back of the scissor blade and to move the paper. Okay, we're getting there, we're almost done. Right, so there's our sending, and the hugs is going to just be snipped. I think I actually did that original one on an angle, but I just chopped that straight, so that's okay. I'm doing it by hand, that's a bit scary. Now I'm really scaring myself. I did the original on a trimmer. I do have glasses on, but my sight's not that good. Okay, so to stick down this sending, I've just added a touch of liquid glue to my piece, and I've just eyeballed it and stuck it down, and then added some dimensionals to the hugs to pop underneath. And then I'm going to add one of the little cute butterflies. I might add one of the big ones just to pop there. Then lastly, I might spritz a little bit of the pretty, I think I've just got that all over my face, and that's the cute one layer card. And do you know, it would look really cute to finish off, to pop, to grab the envelope and to add a pretty sunflower to the envelope. So it would look cute to do, where is it? It would look cute. I wonder if there's enough ink left on it. This is a bit dangerous. I'm just holding it with my hands, but it should be fine. Okay, I'm just going with what's left on the blending brushes. It's a little bit over that, but we're just going to go with it. Okay. What's next? We need the little middle. So we need a little bit of pecan pie. And then we need we need the copper clay for the... How cute is that for a decoration for the envelope? And then maybe just some spritzing with the Blackberry Bliss for a pretty little matching envelope for a set. How cute is that? And that just took 2 seconds. So really, really cute. And that's a perfect little 1-layer card. And you can make a whole heap of those and make a little set. So really, really fun. All you needed was the Abundant Beauty masks and a sentiment you could pull from your stash anywhere. Blend in any colour inks you want. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that. Sorry you got to hear me coughing and sniffling. Beautiful seasonal sickness that I've got. So I hope you enjoy hopping along. Be sure to check out the links below so you can hop along to the next amazing video, and I'll have links to all of the videos in the hop. And I will see you next month with another great video in the Global Stamping Video Hop. So have an amazing month, guys, and I will catch you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.